Hey guys, Katie here with a layout featuring coffee and friends. This is part of the video collaboration on how to use a sketch featuring the creative design team and our volume 2 12 by 12 sketchbook. So I've pulled out the sketchbook. I'd just like to print those and put them in an 8.5 by 11 3-ring binder. And then I've pulled out the Latte Love stamp set and thin cut. And then also the paper that goes with this collection. Now, this collection actually debuted as an online exclusive. You cannot find it in a catalog prior to me even signing up to be a demonstrator. So I was so excited when it was still available, and it actually is still available on my website. So I'll leave that linked below. You are going to love this if you are a coffee drinker. So to start out, I'm going to stamp a few pieces. Now, if you don't have our Versa mat, the Close to My Heart Versa mat, you can use the piercing mat from Stampin' Up. Now, I've already die cut some of the images from the paper, but I wanted to go ahead and stamp this larger coffee cup. I am going to use Close to My Heart's espresso ink. If you do have the Stampin' Up coordinating inks, you're welcome to use that. So I'm just going to ink this up, and like I said, I am using the piercing mat from Stampin' Up just in case you did not get your hands on the Versa mat from Close to My Heart. And I actually, aside from it being much smaller than the back side of the Versa mat, I really am liking this piercing mat. Now, these little coffee pieces, I actually cut from the pattern paper. You can see there I did one for the larger cup, just going to adhere this down. And then I also did a couple for the smaller cups. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere down these little, I guess the coffee that you can see inside the cup. Now, I did cut these just using French vanilla cardstock, but you're welcome to cut them out of any color cardstock you'd like. As far as the pieces go, again, I'm using a sketch from volume 2, so it's going to make it really easy to get these pieces adhered down. I'm adhering them down to French vanilla card base. That is a Close to My Heart color. And like I've said in my earlier videos, I'm not going to go out and just purchase a whole bunch of Stampin' Up colors just yet. So I'm trying to use some of my Close to My Heart colors that will fill in. So I have those two bases adhered down, and then I'm going to start looking at the stamp set. Now, the stamp set includes not only a ring of coffee, but it includes some spilled coffee as well as some coffee beans. So I'm just going to alternate between the espresso ink and toffee, and then those 4 images. There's a group of coffee beans and then a single coffee bean. Pretty much keeping to that top left corner, and then I'm going to go ahead and stamp some in this right corner. Now you'll see that I'm stamping without any of my photos down. This is about the areas that I think they'll go down on, but at the end of this video, kind of fill in with those stamped images. I decided to go ahead and add some toffee ink around both of the layout bases. Hindsight 2020, I probably should have gone ahead and ink distressed all the layers, especially that little bitty tiny coffee cup, those larger pieces that are down on the French vanilla, just to make them pop. But I think in the end, with all the photos and the embellishment clusters that are brought in, I think it ends up looking pretty good. So I'm just sorting out my photos. You can see here we did drink a lot of coffee. I've decided that I want the title for this layout to be cut using some mocha glitter cardstock from my stash. I not tried as I actually cut, but I did try putting some espresso cardstock. Now I've just adhered some adhesive sheets to the back of this glitter cardstock because some of these letters are really small, and you'll see that here in a second when I'm finished with the title. So I'm just peeling away the backing from those adhesive sheets. Those will be linked down below as well. And then just attaching that to my layout base, I am using my T-ruler to make sure that those are lined up. And you can see here I went ahead and added the D and the S, and that's going to allow me to know my spacing for the rest of the word friends. Now for the second half of this title, it says Make the Perfect Blend. I absolutely love this title. Like I said, we drink a lot of coffee, and believe it or not, these aren't all the photos from us drinking the coffee. If you are new around here, I am part of the creative design team, and we actually created the sketchbook that I am using. But for the first time in several years, we actually got to meet in person, and we did that earlier this month in beautiful Vancouver. Some of us were meeting for the first time. Others we had met at conventions and such. Now, I really wanted to use this small photo of coffee, but it just wasn't working out. So I pulled out the Spotlight on Nature die cuts. It's just several circles, and I've cut them using the Mocha Glitter cardstock, as well as just some using French vanilla, so I can decide at a later date which one I want to use. Now, while I'm deciding on that, I thought I would go ahead and attach my photos to the second layout. That's something I do often. If I'm having a hard time figuring out embellishments or something, then I'll definitely go to the thing that I know, and that is that I know I'm going to add some 3D foam tape to some of the photos over here. Now, the sketch actually called for different size photos, so you're going to see me here just kind of struggle with which ones to use. There are a couple of reasons why I'm struggling, and I'll walk you through that. So the top two photos are pretty much by the sketch. That bottom one that's slightly smaller than a 4x6, that's actually supposed to be a couple of photos. And then I really wanted this one, but yeah, I don't know. The one with the red chairs, the one that I wanted. Hindsight, when I actually put it next to it, and I'm looking through the video, the chairs don't actually look red, but I still think that it's just such a stark red because none of the other photos on either layout have that bright color in there. So I'm going to not use that one, and I'll save that one. The way things are going, I'm actually going to have a separate, another 2-page layout featuring all of our coffee, I think. But I'll just save that one for later. So I think I'm going to go with these two. Now, the spacing is a little bit off, so I'm going to kind of scrunch those together like you see here. And then I am going to go ahead and do some more of that coffee ring stamping, as well as the coffee spills and the coffee beans. Unlike the other layout, I actually have these photos to kind of see where I want them. Again, because this side of the layout, I really didn't know for sure. So I'm wanting another one. I'm going to add up next to that group photo. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill in again with some coffee beans. There is, like I said, a grouping of 3 and then the single coffee bean. Absolutely love that. These images also come with a die cut if you wanted, but I like just stamping directly onto my layout sometime. It just adds dimension that it doesn't get with the die cuts and 3D foam tape, if you will. Now, I did forget to attach the dot to the eye, so I'm going to go ahead and do that before I lose this little bitty piece. Wonderful having that adhesive sheet on the back of those. And then I am going to go ahead and add some more of the stamping, and then I have these little cups that I die cut from the paper. Now, because I didn't use that photo with the coffee cup, again, I'm using a circle from the Nature's Spotlight on Nature. I did decide to go ahead and use the Mocha Glitter cardstock because I didn't want my title to be the only thing that had the glitter cardstock. If you've seen me struggling, I am going to clean my scissors right quick. That just, even though they're non-stick, that 3D foam tape is just sticking to them. Now here's that larger coffee cup. I ended up coloring that with a tri-blend marker, the Coral Blends, I believe. And I'm also going to add one of the little bitty coffee cups over to the left. I absolutely love that little grouping. And then I'm going to add some spilled coffee as well as some coffee beans just to kind of bring that stamping down. And then as far as the right layout, here's where all the embellishing starts to take place. And I like to have that left layout there so I can see the visual triangles, so I can see what elements I used on the other layout, and I can repeat those on this right layout. So you'll see where I'm starting to fill in with some more stamps. And then this right layout did not have any of the glitter cardstock, so I just used some scrap. Going to go ahead and cut that and adhere that down next to that right photo. I am going to move it down slightly, and then I'm going to add another piece on the bottom group photo. Probably didn't really have to, but because that is just kind of stuck there, it just seemed like it didn't go, so I needed it to be cohesive. I'm adding that other little bitty coffee cup with some 3D foam tape, some dimensionals, and then I am taking some of the Stampin' Blends. These are the ivory, dark and light, and I'm just deciding to color those coffee beans. I was going to leave them, but they were just, I don't know, they just kind of stuck out. So I definitely love the colored look after the fact. I think it just kind of added that extra little something to these little stamped images. Now with the bundle that came with the Latte Love, you get these little swirl dots. I believe they are called adhesive backed swirl dots. And I'm just going to add the darker color. They come in 3 colors, natural wood, kind of a light, and then kind of this darker wood. I'm adding those just near those embellishment clusters. And I love that it has that swirl in it. It makes it almost look coffeed, if coffeed is a word. And then I'm going to add some journaling strips. Now I do have journaling strip stickers, and I've trimmed those on the backing sheet, and I'm just going to add 4 or 5 down here, and that's going to allow me to add my journaling here in just a little bit. If you're new here, I usually add my journaling after the fact. I usually get personal with my journaling, and so I usually don't like that just all online. So you can see here the glitter cardstock in that title, as well as that circle, and then of course that stamping, and then those little swirl dots, and then that is brought over here to that right layout with those strips of glitter cardstock, and then some of that paper that was cut using the die cut. And that, my friends, is it for this collab for May, featuring the brand new 12 by 12 sketchbook, volume 2 from the creative design team. I'll leave links down below to all the Stampin' Up products that I used, as well as a link to this sketchbook, so you can go grab it and then immediately start creating. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your weekend.